Hello and welcome to this session of Business Research Methods. With this session, I'll be finishing the first module. So we will see how theory is formed. That's what we have been looking at from the previous session. First, what happens, what is theory and why do you need theory? And then we saw that generally there is a concept which evolves into a proposition, and then we have a variety of variables, and then we set up a hypothesis, and then we test that hypothesis, and then based on that we frame theories. Okay. After setting up of hypothesis and before setting up a theory or formulating a theory, there is a little logical process which is called the induction reasoning and the deduction reasoning. It's not very complicated. We don't have to go into huge details, but we will just understand what it means. There are various ways of generalization, that's all. Induction reasoning. What is induction reasoning is, there are many studies conducted, okay, in Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai. There are lots of studies conducted, okay. Induction reasoning is, from numerous observations, a general conclusion is drawn. From numerous observations. So, what are the numerous observations that you see in all these cities? Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai. The students are going abroad after their graduation. You see many incidences, numerous observations, and then you come to a general conclusion saying that the students after their graduations generally go abroad to study from India, right? So this is called inductive reasoning, right? So you have observations, numerous observations. From the numerous observations, you get to a particular general conclusion. You formulate a theory. The next one is just the opposite, which is called deductive reasoning, deductive logic. Okay. What happens to this deductive logic is, you generally generalize, general premise, and from that general premise you get to a specific result. Okay. Example, same example, general premise. Generally, students go abroad to study from India. Okay. Ramesh is a student who has studied in India. So he would go abroad to study after his graduation. Clear? So this is what happens is, there is a general premise. Generally, in the month of May, it starts raining in Bangalore. Specific result. Then you say, this is also a month of May, so next year also it would rain in the month of May. From general premise to specific results. So both of them are different forms of generalization. Without this generalization, you will not be able to formulate theories. Okay. Generally, the seed grows after 90 days. So this particular seed will also grow after 90 days. Deductive logic, right? So there are two kinds of arriving at conclusion, inductive and deductive, right? So now we will conclude theory formulation. Why do you need theory? Over the course of time, theory construction is often the result of combination of deductive and inductive reasoning. This can be tested through scientific method. Okay. So why do you need theory? A theory allows you to generalize. A theory provides insight into common practices and occurrences. A theory in due course is a practice, or a practice that is recorded becomes a theory. Clear? Theory paves way to common future predictions and practices. Okay? So, you understand now the importance of theory and how it is interlinked with practice. Okay? So, generally, there is a saying, there is nothing more practical than a theory. Everything that you are studying as a theory in MBA is a practice which is recorded, right? So this is the interface between theory and practice. The more you get to know of these theories, you will be more prepared to get into a practical scenario and implement it. Correct? So this is the winding up statement for theory. Next, we will go into features of good research. What are the various components of good research? It's very simple. Just note it down very quickly. It should be original. There should be no duplication, and there should be no stealing from other people's research. So it should be original. It should have a very sound research methodology. Research methodology is the step-by-step procedure. All the procedures, the exploratory research or descriptive research, the research method should be followed properly, right? And then if it is a causal research, the variable should be set properly, the hypothesis should be set properly. So there is a proper research method that is followed. Then research is based on proven models. Proven models is the variable should be proven. It should have the basis from a good previous research. Okay, for example, if you are studying motivational research, what is a proven model? A motivational model. Okay, Maslow's motivation model. You should take certain variables from there and test it so that it becomes authentic. So it should be based on proven models. It should be based on proven theories. Only then it will be authentic. Then it should generate new questions. Though the theory is what is the point in having taking an old theory and doing it? You will expand it more, or you will apply it to new scenarios. You will be getting new variables, new insights. You are improving on something that is already there. Next, it should be of use to the real world, right? Generally, application research, that is research, business research that we all practice, it should be application oriented. The variables and constructs should be appropriate. Results should be verifiable. You should be able to go back to the statistics and verify and see whether it is followed a proper methodology, verifiable. The data collection should be proper. Most of the times what happen, at least the students, they cook up their own data. Okay, or sometimes even agencies, when there is a paucity of time, they put in their own data. The results will not be good. Okay, there are many examples, case studies where I can say huge research, market research with crores of money pooled into it has become huge failures. Okay, we can discuss it as a case study when we all are there in live classes. So that is one aspect, that your data collection should be very, very prudent. And then your sampling technique should be two representatives. Like if you are studying nurses, if you are doing research on nurses, you should actually talk to nurses, not people who are retired nurses, or not people who are training nurses, people who are actually in the nursing field right now, like that. Okay, so many a times there is, for example, the data or the sampling will be very vague. For example, they'll say housewives. It's a very vague description. You should say either working women or housewives who are not working, housewives who are in the age group of 20 to 30. Housewife means 25 years is also a person who's not working is a housewife. A person who's 80 years is also a housewife. So you should specify certain things, Only then you will be able to elicit good results. The sample description should be very, very vivid. Next is the findings are clear cut and should have managerial solutions. Otherwise, there is no point in conducting the research. And the next one is no self-interest should be there. A researcher should never say, I want this to be my result. Then there is no point. Many a times this happens where there is a personal interest and then they influence the outcomes. Okay, especially in political results and all. They are representing a particular candidate and they want the results to come in a particular way. So what happens? They have a personal interest. Okay, so it loses. It's not a good research. Right. So the next aspect we'll be covering today, the last aspect in module 1 is what are the advantages and disadvantages of conducting a research online. Right. The advantages are easy access to people. You save time. You don't have to travel the distance and meet up with people. You save cost. It's a very effective tool. It's very easy to network. For example, if you're doing a psychological research, it is easy in the net to connect with people who are also into this area. Organizations, individuals who are also doing psychological research. So your networking becomes very easy. So that is an advantage. And finding target is also easy. You can network very easily. Finding the target audience. There are certain websites where you can go and put your questionnaire and the respective people will come and fill it up. So finding the target is pretty easy. And very important, there are no geographical restrictions. Supposing you are doing a research on testing IQ of people, you can do it across the geography, across the nations. So that is all, these are the advantages. So why I am rushing through it is, it's common sense basically. You just have to be aware of these keywords and you can write on your own. So what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages are authenticity of respondents. You don't know whether he is a person whom he claims that he is. For example, if he says I'm a 35-year male and if he isn't, then there is an issue. Because most of these Facebook accounts and most of these online, there's a lot of fake information on the person who's actually holding it. Right? Next important disadvantage is you can't cross-check for accuracy. Whereas if there's a field research, I can cross-check. I can have another supervisor or call up and then visit and cross-check. Next important aspect is information overload. There are too many information, too many things in the net, and you really don't know whether it's worth spending your time and whether you will get good results or not. For example, after 2 weeks, you go back and then you don't find any response, then you are wasted on your time. Spam and junk mail. That is another very important disadvantage. And virus and plagiarism. There is a very good chance that somebody else is taking away your research or your research tool or your questionnaire and then using it for themselves. So these are all the disadvantage. So with this we finish the first module. and I will be loading a question bank. And your first assignment is please work out on all these questions. Assume that these are 10-mark questions. Answer the questions with proper diagrams. And if you all don't have, if you all are in your hometown or in a village, you have left your laptop, you don't have something to key in, no problem. You can write it, and you can make it into a PDF file, photograph it, make it in PDF file, and just send it across to my mail ID. And 25th is the last date, so please do it, because we are on an online mode, and it is first time for me and first time for y'all. Suddenly exams will be announced, and you will be in a surprise, and I will also be in a huge surprise. So let us just avoid all that. I've given you all the question bank. Please prepare, go through it. It will just take about 1 hour if you all sit tight and write. I have taught you all how to do it. Do your flowcharts, your diagrams, and your definitions. More than enough. So if you all prepare like that, you will be rest assured that by the time we finish all the 6 modules, we'll be covering close to 500 to 600 pages in the textbook. Right now, what we have covered is close to about 100 pages. Okay, so things, when you are listening, it will sound very easy, but when you are recollecting it, then you will realize, you will get confused for terminologies, flowcharts, and hence please have this discipline of writing your notes then and there, doing all the question banks, and keeping it with you so that it will become a good study material. Please don't rely on textbooks or on PPTs. I'm not saying they are not good, but 1 or 2 days before the exam, the best thing that will come handy to you is these notes. Textbooks are too big. You'll have to, it's okay when you're doing it now, but imagine 2-3 days before the exam when you have to study. This is the best proven method to do it. Even your PPTs, they are too broad, too thing, each chapter having 30-40 different slides. It's not going to work too well. This, you will have a linear understanding, and you are precisely writing it, and you will be in control of the subject. All the very best, and thank you.